Something I've been thinking a lot about lately is data. I know, sounds exciting, right? Specifically, data on me, like personal data, and specifically now in the age of AI. I think the value of having your own personal data is just so much greater than any time before. There's been this kind of a niche community online, it's called Quantified Self, where people are very enthusiastic about collecting as much data as possible on themselves. They do their own like training analysis, health analysis, whatever. It ties a lot into people that use Notion a lot to organize their knowledge or whatever. But it's always been very manual. You have to, it's first of all hard to connect all the data, and then even just going through it, you have to write like complex algorithms or you have to review it yourself. And it's always been a very complicated and niche process to really do it a lot. But now it's just so easy with AI coding agents. If you just have your own personal data in any format, it doesn't matter if it's organized, it doesn't matter if it's in a database or in a different platform or your computer, or if it's like a file, structured like data points or just a text file or anything. If you just have your data available in any way and take an AI agent like Claude Code and just point it in that direction, it can explore it, improvise, like cross-reference the data between different sources in a million different ways and find analysis or make analyses and find results for you. And it's so easy. So I've gone crazy about getting all the data that exists on me. I've been trying to literally think about what is all the data that exists in the world about me, which is a weird question. But just for reference, for example, you can think about Google. Everybody, like Google has some data on everyone. Everybody has a Google account and they collect data through a lot of different ways. If you have an Android phone, they get everything, or they get a lot of stuff through there. If you use YouTube, Google is tracking that. When you do Google searches, they track you through advertising over across like the whole web. If you use the Google Maps app, they got data there. Probably a bunch of other stuff. But Google is this big umbrella of a lot of different services, and they all have a ton of data on you. Similar with iCloud, Microsoft. And then you got, for example, your Instagram and TikTok, like the stuff you've posted and the message you've done. But more interestingly maybe is your algorithm, like your personalized feed is personalized to you, right? And how do they do that? It's an algorithm that measures, tracks how you use the app over time, figures out what you like and don't like, and then it tries to predict what you're going to like and gives you that content. And so this is kind of a data profile they have on you. And the cool thing about all these different platforms is that the companies have put huge resources into tracking data about you without you having to think about it, just through the way you use their apps. And they have like hugely complex algorithms to actually get anything useful out of the data. But now we can ourselves get huge value out of the data ourselves so easy. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've tried to identify all these platforms like Google, Instagram, etc. And I've gone ahead and done full data exports from every single platform. So I've done, like a lot of them have their own manual or a good tool for it. Like Google, you go to the Google Takeout website, they have like nice buttons, you click, it's very easy and automatic. Past that, I've sent like GDPR emails to probably 10 different companies asking to get like all the data that exists on me, and it has to be in a machine readable format and whatever. Some have gone smoothly, some have been kind of annoying, some I'm still waiting on. They have up to 30 days legally, so we'll see what happens. And I'm just collecting all these files. And what's interesting is that even though it's kind of a lot of data on you, it really doesn't take that much storage space at all. Like if you exclude photos and videos, and audio files maybe, then everything else takes like no space, no matter if it's like a detailed log of your activity with some service over years. It's just text and data points, like it's text and numbers. It takes like kilobytes, megabytes, it's no issue. And then for actually like photos or videos or big files, I just have it in the cloud, but it's still like my cloud, it's still accessible for my agents. And it's actually pretty easy to store everything, like literally all the data that exists. At least that's available. Of course, there's still other data, like, you know, some surveillance footage from somewhere that you happen to walk through. Like there's a lot of stuff we don't have access to. But it's also crazy how much you can collect if you do bother to do the manual process of like identifying all the platforms or apps or services or whatever and going and exporting that. And so I've tried to do a comprehensive sweep of this. I don't fully know if I have everything, but I think I do. I have a decent chunk for sure. And it's actually quite easy to identify if there's something obvious you've missed, because once you have your list of everything you can think of, then you can just do a scan through all your emails on your account for all time, if you keep them around, which I do. I don't delete them, I just archive them, because again, storage is not an issue. Then you just see every email you received from every company or service forever. And so if there's any service there that's mentioned that you have not yet put on your list, then it's easy to find, and AI can find it for you, which is what I did. And past this, I also exported my messaging history, which is kind of crazy, because when I sent these messages 10 years ago, I never thought about the fact that I would come back later to look at those messages, and that's even a little bit creepy actually. But I have my Snapchat. Snapchat by default deletes most of the stuff, but you could sometimes choose to save it. I have Snapchat and Facebook Messenger messages from so many years ago, which I now recently got in an export, and it's just been kept around by the company. Text messages, and then you get into Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever. It goes way back. Now, what am I going to do with all this data? Well, haven't really done anything useful with it yet, so we'll have to wait and see if it's actually useful. But I do think this is a truly valuable asset to have, and it's a one-time job to get all the historical data, and I really need to do it again. For anything that I'm still actively using, for example, I actively use Spotify, YouTube, whatever, I'm trying to set up, or I have set up an automatic way. So I got exported everything from years, and then from everything that's happening now and into the future, it's automatically syncing live or every hour or every day to my system. So I never need to backfill it again. But is all this data valuable for something? Well, I hope so. It's a one-time job. It's laborious, depending on which platforms you want to do. But once you have the files, you don't really need to organize or process it in any way. I can just let it sit in a file and just have it documented that this exists. It's something I have. And then now I've done many interesting queries. For example, I've asked AI it to go through all my messaging history across all the different platforms. I have a bunch of different exports that are just different folders. They're not organized in any way. They just sit in different places on my computer. I asked the AI to go through all of them and kind of analyze my life in terms of which people have I contacted with a lot or very little, and has it been a relationship over a long time or short bursts in different what are the periods of my life, how's my platform usage shifted over time. And even though people maybe have a slightly different username or spell their name slightly differently, AI has no issue understanding which person is the same across different platforms, and just traversing the whole historical data from 10-15 years. It's easy. Just let it run in the background, comes back with a report. That's probably the main actual synthesis analysis I've done so far. So mostly I haven't used this for anything, but now I have the asset and I can analyze it any way I want to forever, and it doesn't really require any more manual work. It's just any question I have, which can be answered by data that exists on me, and AI can now find the answer, which is crazy. And as the AI models keep getting, they're already insanely smart and capable, but even as they're getting more capable and more capable, this data layer is an asset that improving models can never replace or do for you. Because no matter how smart they are, they just lack the context and information about you. They can be smart about their methods and their limitations, and smart about the questions they ask you, but in general, they either you have the data or you don't. So for the AI, it can be super smart, but for it to actually be personally valuable to you, or for it to actually understand you or your preferences or actually what you want, or just understand things without you having to state it, it's useful to have a large personal data layer that you can plug into any AI you want to. This was, for some of these, quite a long time-taking manual job, but it's a one-time thing. Now it's finished, and I figured it was useful because I don't see any soon upcoming change that would kind of replace the need for that, because the models get smarter, but it's not going to replace this. At some point, the different companies are going to open up their connectors more, so an AI can more automatically connect to the companies and extract all the data maybe for you, but maybe the companies don't really want to make it so easy for you. Like a lot of them, they legally have to give that data to you, but it's not given that they're at least anytime soon going to make any easy way for your AI agent to go there like automatically and get all the data for you. So I figured it was a worthwhile effort. And so now I got essentially one folder that's just nested with a lot of different manual data exports. I've done some like analysis and synthesis and reports, but not that much. But I can do it at any time if I want to. And I've thrown some stuff like, for example, bank records, like every purchase I ever made across all my banks and cards for my whole life, I threw into, or had AI also throw into a database. So it's like very quick and easy for it to analyze and slice it any type of way.